With winter coming up and the supply chain issues we've seen, along with the fact that there might be panic buying should there be any kind of winter storms coming up, we need to start thinking about what we're going to do before the bad weather or panic starts. Remember, being prepared is for the big as well as the small stuff. So today, we're going to take a look at some things you should be picking up now for winter when it comes, so you'll be ready. Let's check it out. All right, folks, welcome back. So I'm going to have to pull stuff from the side because I couldn't get everything on the table because there's a lot of large items. But these are some of the items, and feel free to add more to the bottom, that you should be picking up as a new prepper or as a prepper in general for the winter time. Basically, if you see it in the stores and you think you might need it for winter, pick it up now before there's shortages. We already have a broken supply chain that's going to take its toll on a lot of stuff coming into the country. So if you get it now, you don't have to worry about it later. Now, this is a prepper channel, and most of the people watching this are preppers. So right off the bat, I'm going to say food and water. No, I didn't put anything out here regarding to it. You should know that already. If you don't have food and water, start with that before you start with any of this. This stuff's important, but not as important as food and water. So, let's begin with the first thing, and that's going to be heaters. All right, find yourself an indoor safe heater. Now, I have one here. I'm going to try to walk around the camera and show you. And I have tested this. Okay, this uses little butane canisters on the back, and this has produced no excess CO levels with my CO detector in it, so I feel comfortable with it. However, if something like that isn't available to you, I always recommend the Mr. Buddy heaters. Okay, this is the smaller unit. They have the big one that's kind of that size and stands up. These take the 1 pound propane canisters, very easy to use. They are tip over safe. You'll hear a little ball rolling around in there. That's the thing that shuts the valve off when it tips over. They also will shut off in high carbon monoxide environments. So once that carbon monoxide starts getting up there, these will shut off. These are very, very safe for indoor use, and I've used them multiple times. These, while I did test it and it didn't produce too much carbon monoxide, I still would go with something like this. So that's your first thing. Secondly, is going to be propane, butane, anything else you need. Let me put this back and get the other thing out of the way. Propane, butane, and any other fuels you'll need, including gasoline for your vehicle or generator. And that's this stuff here. Okay. If you use a kerosene heater, we all know that smell from using a kerosene heater indoors, but if you do, please be careful and make sure that you have anything you're going to be using for your stoves, whatever, already stocked up ahead of time. We've already seen this stuff and this stuff disappear overnight, you know. So we want to make sure that stuff is stocked up. Your propane has gone up in price big time. I mean, I remember when I used to get 2 of them for around $5. Now they're almost 10. So definitely start stocking up on that. Now next up is kind of going to be a little bit in reverse order because I wanted to mention it first because it's very, very important. Meds, okay? It's one of these things that was off the side. Over-the-counter medications. We saw last 2 years ago how a pandemic, that was a fairly simple pandemic, you know, it wasn't overly complicated, we knew what it was, how a pandemic can clear your stores out of medication. Remember the lines with no cough syrup in your stores? So you can get yourself over the counter as well as prescriptions. Do you take any kind of medication? Do you take heart meds? Do you take blood pressure, cholesterol meds? Talk to your doctor, see if you can manage. I hate sounding like a TV commercial. Talk to your doctor about, but talk to your doctor and see if you can manage to get an extra supply. Build it up a little bit at a time. You know, they're not going to give you extra supply if you're on pain medication. That's not going to happen. But an extra supply of your daily maintenance medications is really, really important. One of the things I use for prescriptions is Chase Medical. My link will be down below if you're actually interested in checking them out. Basically what they'll do is they'll do an online consultation with you, and they will prescribe to you the common antibiotics that are used for the most common illnesses, as well as some of the other medications. You'll have to speak to them about that, but they do have some other medications that they can prescribe. These are the real deal. They come with a package. They come with a little bag. You will get a guide, all right, on when to use it. For a year, you will get a phone number to call. You can call up a doctor and say, you know what, my stomach's feeling sick, I have a fever, which antibiotic do you recommend, what might be wrong with me? And as you can tell, without giving up too much information here, this stuff is prescribed to me, okay? So it's legit. They will give you an online consultation. They will ship this stuff to your door, plain and simple. You'll get everything you need. Now, what I got is the most common antibiotics you'll need in a disaster. But give them a call, check them out, check out your consultation online and see what you can get. Definitely handy. If you take prescription medication, get it stockpiled now, as best you can and legally. I don't want people to go buying stuff on the street. Then again, I don't think they're going to be selling you your heart meds on the street, you know? Hey man, got any nitroglycerin? So, make sure you check that out and make sure you get that done ahead of time, okay? All right, next up is going to be a way to cook, all right? Again, lots of people have all-electric houses. It's getting more and more popular. Not many people have gas stoves. You may still have one and you may think you're the norm, but in larger areas of the country, electric's pretty normal. Like here, almost every house has an electric stove. When my power goes out, be it from a bad storm or some kind of major disaster, I don't have a way to cook. This is a smaller little exponent stove. I don't recommend using these indoors because you have to prime them and the flame gets pretty high, but it's a good representation. My honest opinion, what you should get is something like this. This is a simple butane stove. They run 20 bucks. I have used these indoors for years. Never an issue. You open them up, you stick your butane canister in there, lock it into place, and turn it on. Very easy to use, very inexpensive. They run about 20 bucks. I know I have them in my Amazon store down below if you're interested. This is a gas one. You can buy them locally in Walmart for the same price, 20 bucks. I recommend these. They're a little bit safer. I know years ago when I worked in restaurants and we would cater banquets, we'd use those to make the, if somebody wanted to request an omelet made, right there in front of them, or a stir fry or whatever, we'd use these. So they're safe to use indoors. Again, if you're going to use any kind of fire or flame indoors, please have a carbon monoxide detector. I have one out here and one in every room that I might be doing any kind of flame in. Definitely get yourself a carbon monoxide detector. All right, let's move on. So, we talked about losing power. What's the next thing you're going to lose? Your ability to see, because it's going to get dark. And that's why I recommend getting flashlights and headlamps. They don't need to be expensive. These are incredibly cheap. I reviewed these recently, and I've been using these to clean in my car and out here for stuff when it's dark, when I have to go outside to shoot a video. I use it. They're awesome. Very simple to use. Rechargeable. If you can get rechargeable, by all means do it, but also have a way to charge them up. Having a rechargeable battery is great, but if you have no way to do it, you're kind of stuck. So make sure you get some of that. Also, too, batteries. Make sure you got enough batteries. These things disappear whenever there's an emergency. Many years ago when we lost power out here for a couple days, in our local stores, they were gone. They were cleaned out. Also, try to standardize the batteries you need. I know when I first started prepping, I was notoriously horrible. I had D's and C's and double A's, and I had everything. I'm kind of moving to triple A's and double A's right now for anything that takes batteries, and I can stock a lot of those very, very easily. If you have to stock a bunch of different batteries, or the 6-volt lantern ones, remember those? If you have to stock a bunch of different batteries, you're going to have a harder time. So try to either get rechargeable and a way to recharge them, or try to get yourself batteries stocked up ahead of time and try to standardize those batteries. The good part is, not a lot of stuff out there takes C and D batteries anymore. Nobody walks around with those big boom boxes on their shoulders anymore. I took 24D batteries. So that's one thing I think it's very, very important. Now next up, kind of goes along the lines of the carbon monoxide detector, fire extinguisher. We're going to be working with flames indoors. It's winter, it's cold. You might be using your fireplace, you might be using a heater. Something might happen, it might go out of control. Not likely, but you never know. Have yourself a good A, B, and C fire extinguishers. These put out all 3 different types of fires. You definitely want these. Another little tip that I learned from my CERT class and from my first CERT class years ago is when you're putting out a fire, don't spray it right on the fire. Sweep at the base of the fire. If this is the fire, I want to be doing this, sweeping at the base with your extinguisher. Get a couple of them. Keep one by your bedside. If you wake up in the middle of the night and your heater has malfunctioned and it burned the door where you exit is burning, you want a way to get out. You definitely want to have that in your arsenal. So make sure that you have a fire extinguisher or 2 around your home, preferably 3 or more, to be honest with you. All right, next up, we're going to talk about shoes and boots. All right, I got a pair of boots back here. Again, pretty much as a representation. These are more combat boots than warm boots, but make sure you have good shoes for the winter. Around here, I can get away with wearing sneakers year-round. Maybe one day a year we get snow and it's gone by noon, even if it's an inch or more. So I can get away with that. However, if I'm working out and we get a freak storm, I got these. They have a very aggressive sole. You can get around in them. They keep your legs and feet warm, or at least your feet and your ankles warm, and you'll be enjoying them much better than trying to go to the store at the last minute, especially where I live. Think about it. Huge storm here. What's the first thing everybody's going to do? Huge snowstorm. Everybody's going to go out and buy boots. Guess what? The stores aren't going to have enough because they don't stock tons of them. So it's a good idea, especially if you live in an area where it rarely does snow or rain or something like that, to have the gear ahead of time so you're not relying on that last minute trip to the store to get your gear. Okay, next up, we're going to talk about clothing, blankets, sleeping bags. Make sure you have warm winter clothing ahead of time. Okay? I'm sure most of us have clothing from last year that's perfectly fine. However, if you don't have enough and you live in a very cold environment, now's the time to be looking for jackets, gloves, scarves, hats, any of that stuff ahead of time. I could live out here my whole life and never need a scarf or a hat. However, there is that one freak storm that will come one day where I'll need it. I have it. I have a couple put away. You know what I mean? This is the kind of thing you want to think about ahead of time. Sleeping bags. If you don't have a way to keep your house warm, here you go. And yes, somebody asked me if I store this like this. I do not store it like this. I put it like this to bring it out to the video. I store it hanging up so it doesn't get compacted. A sleeping bag is very, very handy. You can jump in a sleeping bag, crawl into your bed under the covers, and be pretty darn warm in a really, really cold environment. Extra blankets. This came out of my vehicle. I always keep blankets in my vehicle, but I also keep extra blankets in my house should it get really cold. And maybe everything else I have has failed. I still have my blankets to rely on. All right, last up, generators. Now, if you're going to use a gasoline generator or a propane generator, please do so outdoors. You can run your extension cords back in, keep it out, keep the exhaust away from you. Don't try to be slick and think, well, it's in my garage, it won't be a big deal. Where does my heater pump go? My heater pump runs in here and draws the stuff right into my house. You've probably heard it in my videos many times. So you definitely want to be having your generator outdoors, okay? Lots of people die from carbon monoxide poisoning because they start their generator and stick it in a window thinking, I'm fine, it's all right, it's blowing out the window. That's not enough. You want to have it outside. You also want to be able to do it quietly. So if you have a way to quiet the generator, maybe pack some sandbags around it and everything. Generators tend to draw a lot of attention. You'll get all your neighbors. Now, if you don't mind, that's cool, but you'll get all your neighbors knocking on your, hey, can I charge my phone? Hey, can I keep my stuff cold here in your fridge since your generator is running? You definitely want to be able to keep it a little bit down. You don't want to be annoying to your neighbors either. And also, too, there's the option of a solar generator. I say that with the quotes around it, because I don't consider these solar generators unless they include a panel with them. Then yeah, sun is charging them. Now, as odd as it seems, for those of you that don't know much about solar, you may think, well, what good is that going to do on a rainy day or a snowy day? Having the panel outside will still bring energy in here. On snowy days, I've actually found when there's snow out, it reflects the sunlight better if the sun is shining. Even on a cloudy day, you'll be able to get some juice into these. So definitely well worth it. Doesn't have to be this one. This is an Opus one. We've reviewed this one in the channel. This is the 1200 watt one. Get yourself one. I'm going to be doing a couple of them coming up actually in videos that are a bit on the larger side, 2000 and over. So we're going to show you those in the future. But get yourself one. It doesn't have. It could be a tiny one. I just did the little Blue Eddy. You know, that's a 500 watt generator. Perfect, perfect little thing. Perfect power station. Keep your kids happy with their devices charged up. Keep yourself happy by plugging in your items that you need, and you're ready to go. And can be charged either from your vehicle while your vehicle is running. Make sure you're driving your vehicle. Don't start it in the garage and ignore it because it's just as bad as the generator in the garage. So you can use this while your vehicle is running, charge it up, or you can charge it up by plugging it in the wall. A lot of the stories I've read in foreign countries where the electricity isn't reliable is they may get electricity for 4 hours in the afternoon and then not have it all night. Well, that's more than enough time to get some power into this. So those are just some basic ideas. Again, we could go really deep into the weeds on this. I could get into communications, make sure you have a backup radio, make sure you have a way to communicate to your neighbors, make sure you have a knife, a hatchet, whatever. We could get really, really deep into the weeds on it. I'm just giving you some basic examples of things to think about. And you don't need 2 or 3 of any item. I mean, you can just get one of these. You can get a way to cook. It doesn't have to be that one. I don't really recommend this for indoor use. It's just kind of a cool stove that was out here, and I wanted to put it in the video. A heater. Any way you can get yourself something to keep yourself warm and protected is a good thing. Anyway, folks, that's the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to check out Jace Medical. The link will be down below. It's an awesome way to get yourself any kind of prescription meds that you need. I don't believe they do the pain meds and stuff like that, but any kind of prescription meds you need prescribed from a doctor. No mystery, no wondering if it's the right stuff, no ordering it off some Russian website with Bitcoin. You're actually getting it from a United States doctor prescribed to you. Don't forget to check out all our other links. Our Amazon affiliate store has lots of this gear in it that I reviewed in the past. Most of this is stuff I reviewed. All right, below that's our freeze-dried wholesaler. Today is the last day to get in on our contest or giveaway for up to $1,000 worth of food, combined prizes. First place is $500 in free freeze-dried wholesaler food. Just go back about 4 or 5 videos, you will find it. I have a video talking about it, and then I have the actual video. I'm going to do a random comment picker off of that one. Below that are My Patriot Supply link, $250 off a 3-month kit. That is really good. It was affordable to begin with. Now you're getting $250 off, so that's a good deal to get yourself some food if you haven't yet. And that's why I said in the beginning, we should all have food and water. This stuff's nice to have. We need food and water. Underneath that's our Thrive Life freeze-dried store. Today is the last day to get in on the back to school sale for you folks who are consultants and my delivery customers. So definitely check it out if you're interested. Last day to get in on it. All right, folks, thank you for watching. Stay safe and stay prepared.